especially alcohol addiction. When we begin, it was their choice. It was probably peer pressure or just an experiment. Everyday deciding and everyday failing creates a lot of guilt. That person is actually the cause of the pain in their life. Om Shanti. Care and compassion is our human nature. Whenever we see someone in pain, whether it's a physical illness, whether it is a lack of wealth, lack of education, care and compassion comes very natural to us. It's our human nature. We're always there to help other people. But there are certain issues which are visibly not an illness, but actually they are. And one of them is addiction, especially alcohol addiction. We always tend to believe that it is the fault of the person who is going through it. Yes, when we begin, it was their choice. It was probably peer pressure or just an experiment. But if it continued on a regular basis, very soon it tends to go out of control of the other person. And that's when we say they are dependent on that substance, or which is called they are addicted to that substance. After that, unless the person works on their emotional health, meditates and pulls themselves out of that addiction, it is very difficult for them to get themselves out on their own unless they're going to create a very determined thought. But in this whole journey of them coming out of it, till they don't come out of it, them going through the suffering, going through the guilt, everyday deciding and everyday failing creates a lot of guilt. So there is a lot of emotional turmoil also going on in the person along with the addiction, where addiction by itself is anyways a depleter. So at this time, what is it that that person needs? That person also needs care and compassion, which means that person needs a lot of support and a lot of positive energy coming from people around them. But people around them start believing that that person is actually the cause of the pain in their life. Definitely, because when there is someone who's going through an addiction at home, the rest of the family also starts getting affected. But then it is a blame game which starts, that we start believing they are the cause of our pain. We need to remember they themselves are in a lot of pain, and because of their pain and addiction, their family, especially their children, are not just going through upheavals at home, are not just going through sometimes lack of money at home because the money is being used for that substance, are not just going through sometimes even domestic violence, even arguments, even fights at home. It is a very turbulent energy for a child. And also sometimes that parent who's going through the addiction can be very abusive with the child himself or herself. So it is something which we can only think about, but unless we've experienced it, we don't know how difficult it can become for a child to be born and to be brought up and to be studying on a daily basis in that kind of an environment where there is so much fear, anxiety, helplessness, aggression, sometimes hatred, sometimes guilt. It's a turmoil, it's an emotional turmoil. And in this environment is the nurturing of that child which is a student in your class, that child who is your friend. Tomorrow that child may be an employee in your organization, but that child is carrying an emotional baggage, a baggage of the environment in which that child was born and brought up. And sometimes the child also takes the pressure of that whole baggage on themselves, thinking that if I do something for my family, if I do something for my parents, then everything in my house will be perfect, because everyone wants a perfect family. Everybody wants a perfect home. And however hard we try, when we are not able to get it, sometimes we start believing I am the cause of it. But when I start believing as a child that I am a cause of it, I may start even creating more guilt and pressure and negativity, which will add to the pain at home. So we all need to remember that even in the toughest situations of life, we need to create a powerful mind. Take out a little time, work on yourself. Whether you are the person who's going through the addiction, whether you are a family member of somebody who's going through the addiction, our role is to create that positive energy which is going to fill the vacuum which is there in that person, which is taking them towards that substance dependency. So to fill that vacuum, we require a lot of pure, powerful, loveful, caring, compassionate energy in the house. But sometimes the family members are not able to do it on their own. So as a society, it's our responsibility to empower them, to be compassionate. If the child is a student in your class, if the child is your friend in school, just not that we have to look at them from a different perspective, but to just remember, yes, they have a baggage, and sometimes you may see them not performing up to their capacity. You may see them being very emotionally vulnerable. You may even sometimes see them going towards an addiction because they are growing up in that vibration of an addiction. But at that time, it's not about condemning them. It's not about putting them down. It's not about saying you are wrong, but it's about creating that first step which says, we are with you. We are with you to empower you, to help you, to heal you, and we will heal you so much that you will go home and heal your family. So, wherever they are around us, let's put forward that one hand of support, care, and compassion, which is not just physical, but it's more in how we are thinking about them. If we are creating any critical, judgmental thoughts, then we're actually depleting their energy and we're adding more pain to their emotional pain. But just remembering, it's a baggage that they are carrying, and we are there to help them to move up as they're moving forward with a very positive thought. We are certain that this baggage will drop off and fall off one day. So, together as a community, how we always come together when there is an issue to be addressed, and collective energy always creates miracle. So, our collective energy of care, compassion, and support will definitely create a miracle and shift in the lives of many, many children, many families, and definitely in the life of the person who wants to finish that addiction. Thank you so much. Om Shanti. Shukriya.